This is Q.I.Q, the question in question. Brought to you by TherapyBites Art Lab. Here to take a bite out of modern-day pseudo-psychological psycho-malarkey. Now entering the Art Lab studio, today's T-Ballers, a collection of fellow strugglers, confronting personal challenges, navigating precarious relationships, and tackling trauma. Humans like each of us, juggling difficult human emotions, each here with unique life experiences, lived stories, and questions we'll bite into that just might help you too. And now, entering the Art Lab studio for the 9,880th time is the host of Therapy Bites Q.I.Q, Doc Heath.
Okay. A lot of technical difficulties. Maybe we got it figured out. Hopefully, I'm coming through loud and clear now. Uh, I have an echo, but I think that'll be okay. We'll figure out the echo a little bit later. Let me check. And I'm checking to see how the sound is. Do we have sound? Oh, now we have sound. Imagine that. It's almost, if I'll get my shotgun mic where it's supposed to be, it's almost like magic, isn't it? But here are the rules again. And that is that you can text your questions to me, Doc Heath, at 1-870-686-4196. That's 1-870-686-4196. That helps you join our community group. And also, you can post questions, and we collect those in between, on the weekends, really. And we get those questions ready for Q.I.Q during the week. Any Q.I.Q viewer can compete to guess the question. All you have to do is put it in the chat feed, and my gang is saying they can hear me. And it's good that you guys don't have an echo. I'm the only one that has to listen to myself twice. And I told a joke earlier, and the joke was, well, it's kind of a dad joke. How does an amoeba make a phone call? Through cellular phone. Let's go to the board. And tonight we have Couch Comes questions, as always. 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. And yes, those are Psy coins. We have Creature Feature, Social Media Smackdown, Fresh from the Therapy Couch, and Couch Crumbs. And coming up is Neuro, which is also our Psych Secrets. That is a drop in our podcast that we do. And we do that Mondays and Fridays, except for this coming week. We're going to start doing it only on Wednesdays so that we can come up with some extra special things for our T-ballers, and more announcements coming later on that. But we'll be putting a brand new type of episode. It'll take us about 30 days to get it done, but we'll start publishing that on Mondays and Fridays, and then Wednesdays will be the T-ball team episode with the interview. And let's go ahead and pick a question here. The question is going to be from the category Art Lab Couch Crumbs questions, CCQ, for 600 Psy coins. And the question is, keep your blank moving and your mind will catch up. And I will hit the timer. Keep this moving and your mind will catch up. And that is for 600 Psy coins. You can put your answer in the chat there. I will keep a lookout for it. And we have about 49 seconds left to go. You can think about that. What can you win with the Psy coins? Well, with the Psy coins, we'll send you a gift certificate. You can save those up and then redeem them all at once. And you can think of them as just kind of, your personal bank account of Psy coins that you can go on the Shopify store and spend. We have just about 30 seconds left on the question. I'll read it again. If you keep your blank moving and your mind will catch up. Keep your blank moving and your mind will catch up. We're also planning some semifinal rounds as things catch on for our winners. And oh my, we have a answer here. What is your body? And that is absolutely correct. Keep your body moving and your mind will catch up. And I can't really overemphasize how important that is, because that has relevance when it comes to anxiety. Keep your body moving, and the anxiety, well, will take care of itself. Keep your body moving, and trauma will take care of itself. Keep your body moving, and the depression will improve. Even relationships. If you're having a difficult time in relationships, the question is, what's the next healthy thing to do in this relationship? And
you are a fellow human struggling with difficult emotions, a fracturing relationship, parenting problem, mental health difficulty, have a psychotherapy from hell story to tell, or a challenging life experience question, and would like to share your story by stepping up to bat as a T-baller. Either register by texting Q.I.Q to 1-870-686-4196 and join our TherapyBites community, or send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, email address, and age to the address on the screen. TherapyBites, Q.I.Q, P.O. Box 1391, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403, 1391.
Okay, guys, we're ready for the next question, and that is going to be from the category of Creature Feature, and that is for 400 Psy coins. This little critter encourages you to compare your life to your neighbor, your coworker, or those on social media, thinking they all have lives easier or better than you. And I started the clock, and we're on a countdown here for 60 seconds. And if you get that, that is the T-ball triple. And instead of being 400 Psy coins, that would actually be, oh my, 1,200 Psy coins racking up tonight. This little critter encourages you to compare your life to your neighbor, your coworker, or those on social media, thinking they all have lives easier than yours. And we have about 30 seconds left on the clock. We have a whole zoo of characters in the art lab, and they're kind of in different cages. We try to keep them caged up because we don't want them getting out there sabotaging your life. But we have gnats, which are negative automatic thoughts, and ants, which are automatic negative thoughts. And we have different species of those. And this is a very particular species here. It is the little critter that encourages you to compare your life to your neighbor. And we have an answer there, and that's a really great guess. It's not quite specific enough. The answer is actually, what is the fairy tailing gnat? What is the fairy tailing gnat? Because it is a fairy tale. This little gnat tries to get you to compare your life to the fairy tale lives that you see. Well, guys, I did hit the wrong button, didn't I? I hit the wrong button. But this little gnat tries to convince you that everybody else has a fairy tale life greater than yours. But there's an old country song by a country music artist named Charlie Rich. You can look it up and listen to it. He was talking about something different, but it's called Behind Closed Doors. Behind closed doors, you really don't know how somebody's life really is, or how deep their struggles really are, or what struggle or journey they may be taking. And we call that fairy tailing. Okay, let's go on. We have time for another question or two here. And the next question comes from...
You are a fellow human.
And I'm kind of out of sequence here. You have to bear with me. Comes from the category of Social Media Smackdown. Social Media Smackdown. This is for 600 Psy coins. Discipline is built on the back of motivation, and motivation is built on the back of this. Discipline is built on the back of motivation, and motivation is built on the back of this concept. And the clock is running, and we have a question here. A lot of country songs deal with it. Yes, they do. This was Charlie Rich. Charlie Rich, the Silver Fox. You can Google him. He's long since passed away. But no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. He used to sing in the 70s. When I listened to that on my dad's 8-track tape player. We have about 27 seconds left. What is envy was an answer to an earlier question. But as we said, it was actually the fairy tailing gnat. And let's get on to this question, which again is, discipline is built on the back of motivation, and motivation is built on the back of this. And we don't have any answers there, so we will go to the question. And the question was, what are thoughts, or let me reposition my camera here. I notice I'm really kind of out of frame. What are thoughts or cognitions? Discipline is based on motivation, but motivation is built on the back of cognition, because we first decide our thoughts, we first engineer our thoughts, and then our thoughts engineer our lives.
If you plan on being in the local area of your podcast player app and would like complimentary tickets to the TherapyBites Q.I.Q. Art Lab studio audience, please search TherapyBites on your device and just smash that subscribe button. Your complimentary ticket grants you access to alerts so you'll never miss a show.
All right, thank you guys. We are back for our next question, which comes from Fresh from the therapy couch. There it is, fresh from the therapy couch. And the question is, I'm sorry, the answer is for 800 Psycoins, 800 Psycoins. This is the term the Art Lab has awarded to the type of therapist that never challenges any of your distorted thoughts, because more than wanting you to get better, they just want you to come back and keep moolah, 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 money, 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 giving them money. And this is why they don't challenge your thoughts, because a lot of clinicians think that they have to choose that, gosh, I really can't be that challenging or the patient won't come back, and that's going to impact adversely my bank account. And it's really almost unethical. I think, I don't want to point fingers, but it's really kind of unethical to not help the patient in any way possible because you're afraid that they are not going to come back. We have about 35 seconds left on that. And I don't know if I put this response up there from an earlier question. What is dreams? And Jennifer should answer that one. Was overthinking it? Maybe so. Hey, we talk a lot about overthinking, and it's been my experience it's usually underthinking. We're ignoring important aspects of the situation. That's a popular colloquialism, overthinking there. And sometimes I do, but I think we examine it. Sometimes we're missing important aspects of the situation. And the question for this one, this is the Art Lab term for the type of therapist that never challenges any of your distorted thoughts, because more than wanting you to get better, they're really more invested in you coming back to invest in their bank account. Great therapy is challenging. Great therapy is challenging. And the best way to benefit is to open yourself up to those challenges. Okay, and let's go to the next question here, which is from the Couch Crumbs newsletter for 200 Psycoins. These are the 4 Ds to delete from relationship communication. These are the 4 Ds. And somebody said the answer to that was yes, man. I didn't even give the answer for the last one. The answer from the last one, I skipped that. What is a massage psychotherapist or a nodding head doll? What is a nodding head doll? They're just sitting here and nod their head to everything. That is the question. What is a nodding head doll therapist? And that may seem really, really great initially, but the problem gets to be that kind of wears out after wearing thin. Someone just sitting there agreeing with everything that you say. Oh, and let's get back to this question here, which is, goodness, with all technological difficulties, I've kind of gotten off track there. They are the 4 Ds to delete from relationship communication. They are the 4 Ds to eliminate from relationship communication. And we'll see if anybody has and Jennifer actually answered what is a bobblehead therapist, and bobbing head therapist and bobblehead, that's close enough. We will go ahead and give Jennifer, that was for 800 Psycoins, and I'll make a record of that. And that's in the chat there, and I'll put that on screen. Good job, Jennifer. I wasn't noticing it popped up in the feed. I need to make it go ding ding when it does that. There may be a function that makes it does that. Some of you guys can point it out to me. Okay, this next one there, though, was they're the 4 Ds to delete from relationship communication. And in the interim, and we have a response there. It is a good guess, Jennifer. It's a good guess. The 4 Ds, make note of this, guys. Deny, dismiss, deflect, debate. Deny, dismiss, deflect, debate. In a relationship, we get into a conversation and somebody says this happened, and we say, oh, no, it didn't happen. We deny, or we dismiss it. Oh, that's just silly. Or we deflect it. Well, you do the same thing. You do the same thing. Or we have a debate about it. Well, it's best just to listen and find value in someone else's perspective. Not make accusations, but just to find value in their perspective. And yes, I'm sorry, my nose is itching. And we'll go on to the last question here.
Premier accommodations for our T-Ball contributors provided electronically by the luxurious Art Lab Studio, overlooking the steaming cesspool of pseudo-psychological social media psychomalarkey and located in cyberspace on your favorite podcast hosting platform, where we invite you to the most psychomalogically thrilling podcast in town, while you feast on our award-winning psychologically nutritious buffet of TherapyBites cuisine, conscientiously cooked up by your hard-working T-Ball team chefs.
Okay, and welcome back. And we are on to our last question of the evening, and that is coming from Psych Secrets, otherwise labeled Neuro. And the question is, the answer is rather, for 400 Psycoins, we in the Art Lab use these 3 words to explain the neuroscience phenomena of long-term potentiation, otherwise known as LTP, which is the strengthening of signals and circuits in the brain due to patterns of activity. And the clock has started. I'll read the question one more time. I realize it's a complicated one. We in the Art Lab, by the way, that stands for Accurate, Realistic Thoughts, Life-Affirming Beliefs, use these 3 words to explain the neuroscience phenomenon of LTP, long-term potentiation. And this is the strengthening of synaptic signals and connections and circuits in the brain due to regular patterns, high-frequency patterns of activity. And you can put your question there because this is the question in question. 3 words to explain the neuroscientific phenomenon of long-term potentiation, which is the strengthening of signals and circuits in the brain due to patterns of activity. And we only have about 11 seconds to go. And Jennifer has no idea. I would suspect a lot of people don't, but it's a very powerful phenomenon. It actually affects things such as anxiety, trauma, pain, depression, anxiety, pain, trauma. It affects all those. And the answer is, what is practice, practice, practice? Practice, practice, practice are the 3 words that we use in the Art Lab to explain the neuroscientific phenomenon of long-term potentiation, which is the more you engage in that pattern of activity, the more your brain engages in that pattern of activity, the deeper it encodes that information, the more powerful it makes that circuit. So if you want something to be very powerful in your brain, then practice, practice, practice it, and your brain will leverage more neuronal resources to make that happen. But be careful, because you can also do that with depression. You can actually get better at having more depression. Anxiety, you can actually get better at having more anxiety by focusing on the anxiety. And even trauma, you can get better at having trauma by avoiding things that you're afraid might remind you of the trauma. And then also pain. You can look this up. It's called learned pain. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful day. Join us tomorrow for volley, and that is at 11 a.m. And that is a video-based support group. And then on Saturday is our community group, and you can get notices of all these if you join our community by texting 1-870-686-4196. Have a great day. Take care of yourself and each other. Find a way to make a difference in someone else's life.
Next time on Therapy Bites Art Lab Q.I.Q, Doc Keith and T-Ball callers face off against steaming piles of pseudo-psychological psychomalarkey directly from your favorite social media platforms, or perhaps from the psychotherapy couch of a pill-pushing, emotion-demonizing, bobble-headed, woo-woo clinician who fed their kooky Kool-Aid to you. This is Art Potto speaking. Therapy Bites Q.I.Q is a Dr. I'm a Freud-Not production. Distributed by the Therapy Bites Art Lab Podcast.